You should not be able, as a champion, you should not be able to lose your match by not getting pinned. You should not be able to lose your title by someone else getting pinned. If I were champion, I would never agree to it. And give my thoughts on each match that we have here. We're actually going to start with the women's tag match. On the pre-show. Good match overall. I'm glad that Karmen got to win in her home country. I think that's great for her. I do, because here's the thing, right? Usually folks don't win in their home country. That's kind of how that tends to work most of the time. Even though here in Canada, I feel like everybody's been winning here in Canada. But I'm glad that she got a chance to win in front of all of her home people, her family, and all of that stuff. So good for them, good for her, and good match overall, I think. The next match was the men's North American Championship match. In my opinion, they started off with the best match of the night, hands down. This was the absolute best match of the entire night. The masterclass that Wes Lee and Oba Femi just put on for us was an absolute banger. I mean, you cannot ask for something better. This was the ultimate David versus Goliath. David didn't win, but man, did he put on a fucking fight. Like, this was one of the, if not the best matches that I've seen this year so far. The other one that comes to mind immediately was also an Oba Femi match at Stand and Deliver, the triple threat match between him, Josh Briggs, and was it Dijak was in that? I think Dijak was in that match. Absolute banger. Absolute banger of a match. That match is match of the year. I think this one is going to give it a run for its money. Absolute incredible match. And I'm glad Oba Femi won. Next match of the night was the women's. Was it the women's North American match or was it the tag match? Which one was the next one? I forgot. Yeah, it was the women's North American match. Again, an excellent match. I wasn't sure about this one. I wasn't sure about this one. I wasn't sure how well Kelani and Soul were gonna do. I know everybody swears up and down on Soul Ruca, but I think that, but I was definitely, I didn't have a whole lot to say with when it comes to Soul. Hadn't seen much of her, hadn't seen much from her. When it comes to Kelani Jordan, most of her matches that I've seen have been hit or miss. So I kind of came into this one not really sure what to expect. This match was incredible. These two ladies put on an incredible show. I think that Sol Ruca's athleticism is top tier, bar none, to anyone else's. And the things that she can do in the ring, you know, largely attributed to her background, her gymnastics background. But man, she has made it. There's a lot of women with gymnastics backgrounds inside of WWE. She has made that transition work so extremely well. And I think that she definitely is going to go very far with where she is now. And her and Kelani Jordan clearly, I think, are actual friends um, outside of all of this, I believe, because they work so extremely well together. The chemistry that they had in the ring was awesome. He was because here's my thing when it comes to you know professional wrestling as a whole. I feel as though it's more than just being able to wrestle well, right? It's being able to tell a story in the ring, right? It's being able to put on a good show. There's a reason why this business is sports entertainment, right? Because you need to be able to put on a good show as well, right? It's not just about the holy shit moments, right? But it's about taking the audience on a journey, right? I think it's more important to get this is awesome chance than holy shit chance, even though sometimes this is awesome chance can be a little bit unearned, um, just because the crowd's on cloud nine for who's in the ring sometimes. However, I do think that those are should be more sought after than the holy shit moments. I think NXT has that figured out extremely well, and that was perfectly uh, uh, portrayed through this match between Kelani and Soul, and I think it was absolutely fantastic. Um, the next match is the men's tag match. Um, this match did not go the way that I saw it going. I'll say that. I think that Nathan, Frazier, and Axiom are the most boring champions I think I've ever seen. However, they are some of the most talented champions in the ring, bar none. Um, the, the way they were able to work with Chase U, man, incredible. Because it's kind of a similar situation with Oba Femi and Wes Lee in some ways. I think that Chase U are two very large men. They're big dudes, right? And Axiom and Nathan Frazier are not. So it was very much a test of speed versus strength in that way. And when it comes to those two, there's a lot of speed involved. But um, I think that Chase U definitely showed up. They came to play. They put on a fantastic match. And even though this didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, I think that it was still a fantastic match overall. Um, the next match after that is the match that I was expecting to be the weakest match of the night. And that was Roxanne versus Lola. Um, I would say that I was right in that. I do think that this was the weakest match of the night. However, with that being said, it was still a great match. It took a second for them to really get into it. Um, but I do think the storytelling was there. I think the overall pacing of the match, while it started off a little bit slow, once they kind of got into the rhythm of it, it really started to cook. And I think by the end of the match, it worked out. Were there a couple botches? Yes. There are always going to be botches inside of NXT matches. So I just kind of I give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. There are botches on the main event matches too. So I'm not really holding that against them as much as I would on the main event roster. But I think one of the as a performer, as a musician myself, one of the things that I understand when it comes to mistakes is how you recover. It's not about the mistake itself, it's about how you recover from that mistake. Because if you can recover well, one of two things is going to happen. One, nobody's going to notice, or two, even if somebody notices, they're not going to remember it. And for the way that these talents actually are able to recover when they do make mistakes says a lot, because Some of that is not on the main roster. When folks make a mistake, they almost freeze up sometimes and forget what they're doing. But they are always able to recover extremely quickly to the point where you don't even really notice it sometimes. So I think that in this match, while there were some botches, they recovered extremely well. And I think that overall it still worked. So this match went the way that I saw it was going to go. However, I would not have been mad if Lola won this match. I would not have been mad at that. I think she actually, and I was one of the main ones to say, I don't know how well Lola's actually going to be able to wrestle in this match. I was very pleased to see that I was wrong. Lola actually wrestled very well in this match. She did an incredible job. They both did. And this match was very good. Weakest match of the night, in my opinion, but very good nonetheless. Now, the main event. I've said many times what my feelings on fatal four ways and triple threat matches for world titles, for titles in general, are. I think it's the biggest mistake to do that. I think that this should have been a triple threat match for the number one contender spot, and then whoever won that match would then be able to face Trick Williams for the title. And I think I was proven right in this particular case. The match started off slow for me, kind of picked up a little bit. But I feel like in a match with four different people, it'd be very difficult to not have some really great spots and some really great moments. I will say JeVon Evans is a star. There's a lot for him in this business, in this industry, and on this roster, and in this company. He is extremely talented. Extremely talented. Sorry, I'm sitting here reading chat and that's funny. So I think the end of this match was absolutely awful. And in some ways, because of that, this match is probably the next worst match of the night for me. I just don't understand why you do it this way. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's a championship match. The only person that should be pinned is Trick Williams. The only person. Or the number one contender that's facing him. You should not be able, as a champion, you should not be able to lose your match by not getting pinned. You should not be able to lose your title by someone else getting pinned. Because someone else was too weak to kick out. If I were champion, I would never agree to it. But again, that's a hot take that I'm probably on an island with that one on myself, but that's just how I feel about it. So overall, it's hard for me to say that this match was good, but at the end of the day, I think that there was a lot of talent that was showcased in this match, and I cannot deny that. There were a lot of great moments in this match. I cannot deny that. However, there is absolutely no way I can be happy with how this match turned out, because this is exactly what I was afraid would happen, and it did. So, overall, for NXT Heatwave overall, I would say that this was leaps and bounds better than Money in the Bank. And this is the second time that I felt like an NXT PLE was better than a main roster PLE. Because for those of y'all that have been with me, y'all know I felt that Stand and Deliver was better than night one of WrestleMania, which says a lot. But this Heat Wave was definitely better than Money in the Bank. The matches were consistently fantastic, I would say. Other than the few things that I've already talked about. And I think overall, I'd have to give, if I were to rate this, on a scale of 10, I guess. I would probably give this match like this PLE a solid 8 out of 10. And the reason why I give it an 8 is just because of those few things, primarily that fatal 4-way match just really puts a huge wrench in it for me. Um, so those are my thoughts. That's my review of NXT Heatwave. I'm gonna try to do these kind of reviews more often after the PLEs. I just had a random thought to do this time around, and so y'all let me know if y'all like this, if y'all want to see more of these types of things. But that's my review for this. So what do I think is next for Jay after Money in the Bank? Man, the Rumble. I think that's what's next for him. Is Royal Rumble. I think Jay will probably win the Royal. I think Jay needs to get either a Royal Rumble win or a number one contendership from Elimination Chamber. He needs that. Otherwise, I don't think he's gonna get a solid shot at the title simply because there's so much other stuff going on surrounding these titles that he's not a part of. So he needs to kind of force his way in through one of those opportunities. Otherwise, unfortunately, main event Jey Uso is going to fall into obscurity, and that we don't want. So, with that being said, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Um, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a really long weekend, and I gotta try to get some sleep. Um, so I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this one. Um, I will be back. Today is Sunday. I'll be back tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. We're gonna get some answers for what happened last night at Money in the Bank, and you know, we'll see where everything goes from there. So, um, that being said, appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through Discord. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me over here, Twitch and YouTube. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me on there. Yes, I'm going to be trying to stream to YouTube more often now as well. So keep an eye out for that. But hey, with that being said, I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.